Right now on Upfront.
The state of the state.
Our state has never been in a better fiscal position than it is today.
Governor Tony Evers laying out his new spending priorities. Republicans quick to respond.
As you know, all of Governor Evers' ideas will probably be tossed aside like we always do, and we'll start over.
Our guests this Sunday, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos and Democratic State Representative Evan Goyke. Then the race to the primary.
Politics is poison to the work of the court.
State Supreme Court candidate Daniel Kelly one-on-one. 4 candidates looking to advance in the February primary. Control of the court at stake.
And a looming constitutional crisis.
I hate to put it in this term, but sometimes we're just locked into picking up bodies right now. We want to get out of that space.
The new alarming warning from the state bar. Attorney Dan Adams taking us behind the scenes.
This is Upfront with Jaron Jordan and political director Matt Smith.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Full steam ahead on the budget battle after Governor Tony Evers' State of the State.
The governor outlining more than $1 billion in new spending he'd like to see, targeting issues like mental health, child care, and shared revenue. The governor with us also responding to Assembly Speaker Robin Vos.
He also said, well, maybe there's ways that we can make this happen, too. So I think, it's all, we have to take everything as a point in time. I do think that we'll get something accomplished.
Assembly Speaker Robin Vos joins the speaker like always. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
So the governor hasn't ruled out vetoing the Republican budget that you may send to him at certain points if certain things are included. Are you working to ensure, I guess, through compromise that won't happen?
Well, it's never our goal. I mean, we want to make sure that whatever budget that gets through the legislature focuses on the priorities that we have, and hopefully they're shared by Governor Evers.
When's the last time you and the governor have talked privately?
We met probably about 2 weeks ago.
What was that conversation like?
I mean, it was very standard. I mean, we didn't get into a whole lot of details, frankly. I was a little disappointed he didn't tell us on some of the plans he was going to announce to say, hey, is there a way we could work together on these things? Much of what he announced on Tuesday was a surprise to Republicans.
This seems like more progress, though, than last budget cycle.
I mean, I give him credit for reaching out. I think I've said that he reached out right after the election. We've met twice since then, which is 2 times more than we have in the last couple of years. But it's not just about meeting to meet. It's actually trying to see where we can find middle ground. Look, I'm very sincere in saying, look, not everything has to be an argument. I think we can have massive tax reduction. I think we can also make investments in our priorities. It won't necessarily be one or the other, and I realize that. I hope he does too.
On taxes, the governor has said to me, if a flat tax is included in the Republican budget, that could signal a veto from him. Are you going to include that anyways?
Well, we have to work with our Senate colleagues. First of all, I think we need to have significant tax reform to be able to make sure that Wisconsin remains competitive.
So you're not hard set on a flat tax?
No, I mean, that would be my preference. But again, I understand that Governor Evers has concerns with that. But the most important thing for us to do is we have to make big efforts toward reducing our tax burden. Flat tax would be ideal. If we can't get it to ideal, there are other ways to get there.
Let's talk about shared revenue. Milwaukee's mayor told us here last week that he really doesn't want to do privatization. He said consolidation, we'll look into that. You suggested privatization. Where's your red line on these negotiations?
Again, I want to see real reform. If it's window dressing, that's not good enough.
Milwaukee has said they've reformed for years.
They have done some things. I want to give them credit, but nowhere near as much as they need to. I want to make sure that they have the tools to be able to do that, but also the fortitude. It's not just about a promise that we'll consider it. It's how are we going to change the trajectory for Milwaukee?
City leaders will say, listen, a lot of this is going to go to public safety, and if Republicans are serious about public safety, then put your money where your mouth is.
That's part of it, and I think that's fair. But at the same time, an awful lot of the bad decisions that they have made can't be simply solved by just saying we need more money from the state. So it's got to be a combination of probably new revenues, but also long-term real reforms that's going to reduce cost.
In terms of your private conversations, are you anywhere closer to supporting a dedicated sales tax for Milwaukee?
I think it's possible. I mean, as I look at the real problem, the mistakes that have been made are so gargantuan, it's almost impossible to solve without some new revenue.
Let's talk about the state's abortion law. We've heard what the governor has said in recent weeks. Are you still going to bring a bill to the floor that adds rape and incest?
That's still my goal. I mean, talk about disappointing. For a guy who really ran on abortion, and that's his only priority, frankly, it seems like for most of the state, that's all he talks about for the last 3 or 4 months. I'm disappointed that he's not even willing to sit and negotiate with us. It's either everything that I want or nothing. Look, I think we should have a rape and incest incest exception in the law. I think we should redefine what life of the mother is so it's crystal clear and we have no issues. Why isn't that an area that Governor Evers could work with us on? He's basically saying my way or the highway. That is not what Wisconsinites want.
Is there enough support in the caucus for that right now?
I feel like we could get it there, but also, I mean, I don't want to do things. I'm trying not to pass bills just to send a signal, right? You haven't seen us take up a bunch of election reform bills, even though we really want those and believe that they should be law, because I'm trying not to pick a fight.
Senator Johnson told us before the November election that if he won, he was going to really pressure you and Republican leaders to put this issue up for referendum. Has he called you yet? Have you had those conversations?
I've heard nothing from Senator Johnson.
Does that surprise you?
No, frankly don't.
Why not let the voters decide this? Why not?
Because we don't do referenda that way. I mean, I think that this is one of those. Well, this is one of those issues where it's pretty settled where people are, and I think that we already know we need to try to find a middle ground. This is not something where you're going to convince people who are pro-life to become pro-choice or people who are pro-choice to change their mind. There should be some ability to come together, and we're not going to necessarily be able to do that if the argument is about picking one extreme or the other.
Let's talk about medical marijuana. How close are we to a bill?
We're not that close.
Some have said we're close.
I think that's a misstatement of where we are. I do believe, look, as you know, I've been a supporter of medical marijuana I was one of the first in the legislature, so for people who have long-term chronic issues, I am very sympathetic and I'd like to find a way to get it across the finish line. We have a group of legislators who are working on it right now, so it's possible. But I don't know how much more sincere I can be in saying that every time Governor Evers brings up the idea of recreational marijuana, that scares away a whole bunch of people who say we do not need to become like Illinois or Michigan, where you walk anywhere in the state and there's the stench of marijuana, and we certainly see that's a problem.
And you don't look at that tax base and think, well, maybe?
No. I mean, if we are going to do medical marijuana, it has nothing to do with generating taxes for the state, and it has nothing to do with creating a new industry. It should be all about helping people who, through no fault of their own, have a chronic disease that is awful to deal with.
Does the bill pass this year?
I don't know. It could. I think it's unlikely unless we can figure a way to try to find some kind of middle ground consensus.
Well, one thing that hasn't received probably as much attention as it should is transportation funding, and that's going to be a huge part of the budget and that conversation. When you look at gas tax revenue and just when you look at numbers in general, is there more money that needs to go to that's not being talked about at this moment?
I'm glad you brought that up. That's absolutely true. It's one of the things that we've talked about in our caucus, because there was a report in the Wall Street Journal, I think it was last week, that said 10% of the new vehicles that were sold in 2022 were electric. So we certainly are not anywhere near a majority, but we're heading in that direction. We need to change how we fund transportation. Right now it's almost entirely on two revenue sources, well, three, federal money, but the two state revenue sources are license plates that are sold and gas taxes. Gas taxes are basically flat. We have increased title fees over time. We probably need to adjust that for electric cars because they come nowhere near to paying what their portion of the funding for the road needs to be.
So
because
pay
they don't pay
more if you have an electric car?
Probably, especially on your title
Is that
or
a
your
punishment?
license. No, because you got to pay for the road. I mean, somebody has to pay for it.
Bring me inside the politics of your new caucus as this new session gets underway. Any regrets in essentially kicking out Representative Branchin?
No, I mean, first of all, that was a vote of the caucus, and remember, it was because she just can't be trusted. I mean, the most important thing that you have in the Capitol is your word and the ability to be able to keep confidences when it's required. We discuss strategy, we talk about ideas, and it's interesting that the leaking that has happened over the course of the past couple years has stopped. So perhaps that's a reason that I think an awful lot of people didn't trust her any longer.
You're fully confident it was her leaking?
I don't know that, but the leaks have stopped, so I guess you can ask yourself, why has it changed?
A busy start to the session, busy few weeks and months ahead. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos, like always, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
State Representative Evan Goyke is the ranking Democrat on the Joint Finance Committee. I talked with him this past week. On that issue of shared revenue, the governor talked about proposing 20% of the state sales tax going to that shared revenue. Where do you see that going in this budget battle?
Well, I'm hopeful. From everything that I've heard in the halls of the state capitol, that's a plan that rural townships and villages and urban cities can get behind, that addresses, would provide a big increase in funding to the formula that we've had over the last 20-some years, and so I'm real hopeful. Now, the easy part is finding the money. Now, the hard part is dividing it up in a way that everybody can agree to. So we certainly have our work cut out for us, but this is a lot of progress. This is an issue I've been talking about for years, and this is the furthest we've been, the most hopeful and optimistic I've been that we're going to solve this issue.
You say you were seeing a lot of progress with this. Would you consider this a compromise in what Republicans on the other side want to address this issue of shared revenue?
I think it is a compromise. I mean, there's a lot of ways that we could fund local governments. There's states across the country do this differently. This is really a unique Wisconsin model that would move forward. And I think for me, at least speaking for myself, I'm a bit agnostic about what that source is, so long as the state is increasing its share to locals and meeting its obligation. And then lastly, it's really important that this is sustainable, that it's ongoing, and that local communities can set their budgets, well into the future without having to worry about shifts in the political winds in Madison, so that they have certainty going forward.
The governor spent a lot of the address talking about the budget, talking about more than $1 billion in spending proposals for the biennial budget. Republicans really quick to come out and say it's a non-starter. Where does this realistically go when these talks get underway in earnest?
This has been the same thing for the last couple of times, and ultimately a couple months after all of the rhetoric, we get to a position of some compromise, and I expect that that's going to happen again. What has happened the last two budgets is Governor Evers has put a benchmark out, and Republicans have kind of chased that benchmark and tried to catch up to him, and I expect they're going to do the same.
You sit on the committee, the Joint Committee on the Finance. Can you take us through, kind of take us inside some of the negotiations, the conversations that you guys are having?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's an honor to serve. It's a 16-member committee. Over the next 5 months or so, we will dissect the budget. You said conversations. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit more like arguing at the kitchen table. You get to know every member of that committee well. We spend a lot of time together. We travel all around the state, and we go issue by issue, budget area by budget area. So, it will take us months.
No doubt a busy couple of weeks ahead for legislators in Madison.
It's going to be really fascinating. We have more of our conversation with Speaker Vos. We posted the entire interview right now on WISN.com/upfront.
Up next, the race for state Supreme Court.
Now less than a month until the primary. Former state Supreme Court Justice Daniel Kelly standing by next.